lunch. Why is the lion the leader? Because of attitude. Write it down. Just attitude. Attitude comes from your belief system, and it produces confidence. The lion believes that he can eat an elephant. That belief becomes the source of his confidence, and so he moves toward the elephant. The elephant is 50 times more powerful, 100 times bigger, 80 times more intelligent, 60% more powerful, and yet the lion eats him for lunch. Why? Because the lion's attitude reduces that elephant to a meal. This is why he's the leader. Leadership is 80% mentality, attitude, and 20% skill. And this is why skillful people work for those with the right attitude. Look at this lion. I took this photograph myself. There's an elephant and the lion doesn't move. You see, when you look at your problems, how do you respond to them? You got a bill that ain't being paid. You got a mortgage that ain't seem to be addressed. You have demands that you can't meet. This is an elephant. How does a leader look at these things? They see it differently. A leader looks at the elephant and he simply thinks one word: this is lunch. The thinking controls the action of the creature. That's why he's dangerous. What makes Myles Munroe dangerous is my thinking. If I tell you my story, you'll know that I am a miracle mentally. I wasn't always like this. I was changed between my ears. I got some new information. I'm going to give that to you these next 2 days. The same information that happened to me. Because I was able to think like the lion. Look at that. Look at that leader in action. Wait a minute. But this is a monster. He said, I don't care. A leader is fearless because of knowledge. There's something the leader knows that makes them fearless. So leadership doesn't get its power from its muscle. It gets its power from its belief. You will never be a leader until I can change the way you believe. Because your belief system produces your philosophy. So leaders don't see through their eyes, they see through their belief. Huh? Your eyes say that's an elephant. Your belief says that's lunch. So if you see through your belief, instead of running away from him, you run toward him. So leaders respond based on their belief system. So to a leader, life is simply what you believe it is. How do you get to think like that? I'm going to show you right now. Because I'm setting you up for tomorrow morning, okay? I want you to really make sure you're here, because this is more important than keeping a job. As a matter of fact, your job is not your work. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. You will never become successful from your job. And your job, you know, ain't permanent. So you can't trust that. You need to find your work. Your job is your skill. Your work is your gift. You can learn a skill, but you're born with your gift, and they can't take that from you. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. That's why I am unemployable. Why? I've been deployed. And I came here for you to deploy yourself. If you deploy yourself, there'll never be a crisis anymore in your life. No more economic crisis to those who deploy themselves. How do you think? And how do you get to think the way you think? And what made you think what you think right now? Where'd you get this attitude from that you have? The history that created you is still with you. And even though you wear different clothes, drive a different car, it's the same person. Because somehow our history is so heavy. It's tough to cut loose. We still apologize for being successful.
That's right.
We feel ashamed to be in charge. It's amazing. See, when you still carry your history, you are afraid of success. Because you may lose your friends who ain't going nowhere. Very subtle problems. Your attitude is so powerful. It creates your atmosphere. It also is a source of your natural lifestyle. And if you're going to change your life, you got to change your attitude. Now here's the bottom line. Write this down. Your belief system is the source of your attitude. I know you came and you're thinking, Dr. Munroe, tell us 10 principles of leadership. No, that's not what you need first. You need to change the way you think first. I was invited to speak at Harvard University a few months ago, and the room was filled with all of these technocrats and these professors and all these, Ivy League people. And they invited me to speak on leadership. Do you know what I came in there and talked about? I talked about thinking. When I was finished, first standing ovation ever at Harvard University, they says. They had never heard anybody get into their heads before. I exposed those who were racist. I showed them that your thinking is your philosophy that destroys the way you treat people in your department.
That's good.
And until your thinking change, you are contaminated leadership. They had never heard such a level of teaching on leadership. Why? Because unless your mind changes, you will never become a leader. Ladies and gentlemen, let me put it this way. Attitude determines your limitation, which means that your belief system determines how far you go. You can never lead beyond your attitude and your belief system. And that's why your life is what you think it should be and exactly what it is. Attitude is the manifestation of your personal philosophy. And that's why this first session is dealing with discovering your personal leadership first. Then we could talk about people. Write this down. Philosophy is a product of your ideas. And this is why I started this session out with a question. Do you believe that everyone is a leader? You had problems with that. And I understand, because the culture doesn't allow it. Could you imagine going to work tomorrow telling your boss, I am a leader too? You just have problems with that. People tell me, they have a PhD in physics, and I laugh at them. I say, really? So what does that mean? That means nothing to me. That doesn't make you better than me. Your education doesn't change your human value. We are still equal as humans. And I do know some things you don't know. So we got to be careful. Our philosophy, our ideas is the source of our philosophy. And I like what the